For over a decade, Bitcoin has been pitched as an unassailable financial fortress, an economic engine that operates with rigid, predictable logic. Major institutional players are backing that perception with massive capital. Leaders are organizing multi-million-dollar security consortiums to ensure the network stays protected for decades. If you look at where those budgets are actually going, the focus is almost entirely on distant, theoretical threats, specifically the potential rise of quantum computing. While the industry looks decades over the horizon for complex technological boogeymen, a structural revenue problem is already developing in the background. The risk to a trillion-dollar system isn't necessarily an external attack. It's an internal contradiction in the network's own economic model. At its core, Bitcoin was built to do one thing: convert raw electrical energy into network security. Maintaining security requires constant energy consumption. The network pays miners through the primary block subsidy, newly minted coins delivered with every block. This chart tracks miner revenue. The primary subsidy decays 50% every 4 years, driving the security budget below hardware costs. Transaction fees are expected to fill this gap. If fees rise to pay for security, the network becomes unusable. If low, the budget disappears. We are already seeing the practical effects of this squeeze. Large-scale mining operations are increasingly pivoting their hardware toward artificial intelligence or facing bankruptcy as the math of security no longer pencils out. Without a new revenue variable to offset the decaying subsidy, the security budget remains on a fixed path toward zero. Solving this requires working around an absolute constraint. The base code of the original design cannot be changed without compromising the network's integrity. Typical software fixes, like introducing permanent inflation or switching to a proof-of-stake model, are considered destructive to the core value proposition of the system. A viable solution must be non-destructive, requiring exactly zero alterations to the underlying protocol. To address the revenue gap in a system that cannot be changed, developers have had to engineer a parallel mechanism that interacts with the network from the outside. That mechanism is built on digital matter theory, utilizing a specific asset known as the non-arbitrary token, or NAT. NAT acts as a second subsidy parallel to the main network, contributing to the same miner revenue pool. By tokenizing network security, the market prices it directly. As the base subsidy decays, the NAT stream widens to meet demand, compensating miners for their energy. Because this operates as a voluntary layer, it requires no hard forks or institutional permission. It is a market for security that lives on top of the existing blocks. The footprint of this deployment is already visible. While the concept remains a fringe topic in many Western circles, 60% of the global hash power has already integrated the NAT protocol into their operations. This community-engineered immune system was built specifically to address the revenue trajectory that the mainstream narrative continues to overlook. There is a disconnect between the active deployment of the security patch and the relative silence from institutional voices. Verifying the revenue problem doesn't require a degree in cryptography. It only requires projecting the current block rewards against the energy costs of the network over the next 3 halvings. When those numbers are projected forward, the discrepancy becomes difficult to ignore. The model shows a clear point where the current revenue system simply stops meeting the network's energy requirements. Recognizing that mathematical reality is the first step toward understanding why a secondary, market-driven subsidy is becoming a necessity. The introduction of DMT-NAT provides a resolution to that revenue gap. It demonstrates that the scheduled halving of block rewards doesn't have to lead to a decrease in total network security. The future of decentralized money likely relies on letting free markets, rather than a static piece of code, determine how that money is defended. While the trillion-dollar network is often discussed in institutional boardrooms, its actual security is being reinforced in the trenches through digital matter theory. The most effective patch for a rigid digital system is to simply give the market the tools it needs to defend itself.